Today I'm going to fit the front pair of coilovers to our drift car. These are HSD monopros, which have plenty of camber adjustment at the top and separately adjustable link for the sway bar. And unlike a lot of struts, this bottom part just gets clamped in place by that clamp. A couple of handy tips for you. To get the sway bar links off, you'll need to have a spanner at the back of it while you undo the 16mm nut at the front. Also, a good idea to put a jack under the disc when you loosen off the strut so that it doesn't drop down too far and pull against the brake line. So, once you pop the base into that bracket just loosely, you can use that handy jack you had nearby to start lifting up the coilover. Somewhat unfortunate feature of BMW is that once you have the strut all the way in, you can't get to the adjustment bolts for the camber setting. So for the sake of a starting point, we put it on just the third notch, and we'll tighten it up with the bolts all the way to the inside. When you're doing up these top nuts, bear in mind that they are only M8 studs, so you shouldn't use a rattle gun. Just use a normal one of these. Yep. So finally, do that bolt up again with the brake line attached. Adjust the sway bar mount to a point where it fits easily, and tighten everything up. So that's all done. Just make sure your sway bar heights are about the same on each side, and the distance from the top to the top of this lower bracket lock is the same left and right, and that'll give you a good starting point. So to reinforce the subframe mounting points, I've got bits of 3mm strap steel that I've cut out and attached with fairly serious metal epoxy, which hopefully will stop the subframe cracking, or rather the chassis cracking where the subframe is connected. This is how you go about getting the old bushes out of the trailing arm and all of the other parts of the rear cradle. So basically you've got a rod through the middle. The big cup is pushing against the trailing arm, the little one is pushing out the old bushing, and the new one, you just see a little bit of grease and pops in pretty easily. And then you add the steel sleeve in the middle. The one at the back of the diff is a bit trickier. We had to actually machine down one section so that it could be used to pull the bushing through. Once you've got the new one in, you've got to manhandle the diff back into place and start attaching the sleeve to that. And then you can connect up your drive shafts again. To stop the shafts turning, you just stick a big lever through two of the bolts on the hub and turn it around to do them all one by one. Here's the new discs in place on the rear cross member. We've also got the 20mm spacers fitted up. To fit these, we actually had to shorten the original bolts a little bit because they failed on the internal drum brake mechanism. So while I'm in the middle of doing brake upgrades, I'll take a look at the front discs, and they're pretty heavily worn and grooved, so they need replacing. So while I'm at it, I'm going to upgrade the rotor size. Standard on the 325 you only get a 300mm rotor, whereas the 330 had this 325mm rotor. You also have to change the caliper to put it in the right place. So I've got a second-hand pair of those coming, and we'll be chucking these on.